Hello and welcome back to Dominion Menagerie previews. We are on the second day of the bonus previews, and today we have Way of the Rat. So another way. Apparently, people are really excited to learn more about the ways, which makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's one of the most interesting, maybe the most interesting things we've learned so far about this new expansion. So Way of the Rat says you may discard a treasure to gain a copy of this. Again, should be fairly obvious, but this is referring to the action card that you're playing using the Way. So this this Way allows any action to become a gainer of itself, provided you have a treasure that you can discard, which the vast majority of the time you will. So that shouldn't be too difficult of a condition to activate. And I mean that seems kind of crazy, right? You can imagine like a lot of cases where this allows you to build much more rapidly than you would otherwise, especially if you have overdraw and you can draw stuff, use Way of the Rat, discard, and then draw it back up. Obviously, you need village support to be able to do this, multiple times or anything like that, or to be able to to do it and then draw the stuff back up. But even so, I mean, like even if you don't have that, even if you're just using it as a gainer, I mean that's still a really powerful effect. As like a simple example, you can imagine, your first five is like a hunting party, and then you draw your hunting party turn 5, and you draw it with like 2 estates and 2 coppers, and you're like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to hit 5 again this turn, probably because, well, I guess it would depend on what your like opening buys were. You might actually be really likely to in that case. Maybe that's a bad example, but like the point is, if you're in a situation where you're like, I'm not sure I'm not going to be able to like hit 5 and buy another copy of this good card, well then don't even try. just discard a treasure, gain a copy of it, and done. Now you don't need to try to hit 5. You take the chance out of it. One interesting thing I was thinking about is that this actually might be better for cards of like that are like powerful but not like the most powerful, because the cards that are the most powerful are also the ones that you really 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 want to be playing every time you see them, and you don't want to skip a play of them. So I mean, one obvious example of that is strong attack cards like Witch and Mountebank and Cultist. You're not generally going to want to skip playing those in order to gain another copy of them, unless like the attack has been rendered irrelevant for some reason, which could certainly happen. Like if there's like Guardian or Lighthouse or something, or you somehow know your opponent has a moat, but you don't have the expectation that that's going to be happening on a consistent basis. Or maybe if you're like all the ruins are already gone and you want to get a cultist so that you can either pile the cultist or just so that you can have like more draw or whatever. Like, okay, yeah. But in general, like with those kinds of cards, you're going to want to play them. Another example might be like a card like King's Court. So on the one hand, gaining a King's Court is amazing. But on the other hand, playing a King's Court is also amazing. And I could see that being like a real tension. Can you afford to not play your King's Court in order to gain another King's Court? Well, a lot of the times, playing a King's Court is something that like just there's that one play will often enable you to do more than just gain another King's Court, right? So like the opportunity cost might be too high. But when it comes to a card, like a hunting party or a lab or something that's more just, like it's a strong deck control card, but it's not, it doesn't have the like incredible power of a card like King's Court or Goons or, one of those types of things. Then, I can definitely see it being more valuable to gain a copy than to like, draw a few more cards or what have you. And again, that'll depend on overdraw stuff too. I mean, even if you don't have overdraw such that you can draw it back up, if you draw to the end of your deck and you don't have any more cards to draw and you've got an extra lab in hand, well, why wouldn't you discard a treasure to gain a lab rather than having like 1 coin that you can spend on something, unless that means you can't buy another King's card, I guess. But yeah, I mean, this seems like a super powerful effect. It's really hard to compare the power level to the other ways, just because like what they do is so different. But I think of the ones that we've seen, this one, Way of the Chameleon, Way of the Ox, all seem in very different ways very strong. Way of the Turtle probably also pretty strong, and then Way of the Mole is like, yeah. Maybe not so much. But yeah, this definitely seems like it has the potential to be like the strongest or one of the strongest ways. It's just super good. Super, super, super good. And I think it will be a huge boost to building. Like, I can definitely imagine boards where there's no plus buy. There's not even like any action gainers, but you can still build, so long as there's a village, you can still build really fast. Even if there isn't a village, you can still build kind of fast. You can gain like 2 things per turn. But if there is a village, you can now gain potentially a bunch of things per turn, depending on how much draw you have and how many villages you have. So yeah, it's just super, super good. I'm really excited to play with this one and some of the other ones as well. All right, that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for more bonus previews. Until then.